Hello everyone and welcome back to Sky is the Limit. I'm Mr. Sky. In today's lesson, we are going to look at the present continuous tense in English. I've already made a video on the present simple as can be. So if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. This will help you understand the difference between these two present tenses. There are several present tenses in English, so it's important to know how to use the present continuous. We use the present continuous to talk about actions that are happening now, the real present, temporary situations, and planned futures. So, how do we conjugate the present continuous? We need to conjugate be and add verb ing. So let's conjugate be. So we can see first person singular, I am. Second person singular, you are. And you notice that I put you are in between the singular and the plural form because you is both singular and plural in English. There's only one word, not two. Third person singular, he, she, it is. First person plural, we are. Third person plural, they are. And just a reminder, he, she, it. So we use he to indicate a male, she to indicate a female, and it for objects or animals where we don't know the sex. So as we can see, be is the most confusing verb in English because there are 3 forms and none of them is the base form. Be is the rebel that breaks all the rules. So am is the singular form used only with I. Is the singular form used with he, she, it. And are is the plural form used with you, we, and they. So now that we've conjugated be, we need to add the action verb with ing. As always, we conjugate with the base verb. The base verb is the infinitive without to. So now we add verb plus ing to the conjugated form of be. And verb ing is the same form for every subject. We conjugate the auxiliary be, and then we simply add verb plus ing to every form. So first person singular, I am working. Second person singular and plural, you are working. Third person singular, he, she, it is working. First person plural, we are working. And third person plural, they are working. So now let's look at some examples. It's 12:30. I'm eating lunch. The action is happening now. Just a little reminder that in British English, we like to use the time on the clock, just like Big Ben in London. You don't have to do this. It is not an obligation. You can use the digital time. So instead of 12:30, 12:30. But just know that your typical British person will say 12:30. So you have to understand. Next example. She is travelling around Australia. This is a temporary situation. It's the present moment that has been extended to mean this week, this month, this period of my life. But it is still a temporary situation. We are learning English with Mr. Sky. This is a current project because I think that you intend to listen to Mr. Sky for more than just this lesson. You come back and watch my videos every week. So this is your current project that is happening over a period of time, but nevertheless is a temporary situation. They are going on holiday next week. This is a planned future, an action that is happening in your head. It's planned in your head, but you are not actually doing the action yet. But we still use present continuous for a future planned action. What about you? Do you have several forms of the present tense in your language? Do you have a present tense similar to present continuous? Let me know in the comment section below. So now let's transform these sentences into questions. And as you all know, we need an auxiliary to ask a question in English. So, my next question is, do we already have an auxiliary in our sentences? And if you said yes, we do, then you are absolutely right. In the present continuous tense, we already have the auxiliary be. So we use the auxiliary be to ask a question and to make the sentence negative. So we never use do with a continuous tense because we already have the auxiliary be. So we take the auxiliary be and we slide it in front of the subject to conjugate the question form. So, I'm eating lunch becomes am I eating lunch? Don't forget that I'm is the contracted form of I am, but when we use the auxiliary in the question form, we have to use the full form, we can't contract. She is travelling around Australia becomes is she travelling around Australia? We are learning English with Mr. Sky. Are we learning English with Mr. Sky? They are going on holiday next week. Are they going on holiday next week? It's so easy. English is really an easy language, isn't it? So, it's so easy. Let's move on quickly to the negative form. So, as you know, to conjugate the negative form in English, we need auxiliary plus not. We already have the auxiliary be, so we add not after be, and we usually contract. So now we can see our examples. I'm eating lunch. We add not after be. I'm not eating lunch. She is travelling around Australia. She isn't travelling around Australia. We are learning English with Mr. Sky. Again, we add not and we contract. We aren't learning English with Mr. Sky. They are going on holiday next week. They're not going on holiday next week. Now, have you noticed that when I make the sentence negative, sometimes I contract be with the subject, and sometimes I contract be with the negative form, be plus not. And that's because in English, there are two negative forms of be. So let's have a look at the negative forms of be. I am not is contracted to I'm not. So in fact, I only has one negative contracted form. You are not is contracted to you're not or you aren't. And you can see that wherever you have contracted, wherever you have taken away a letter, That's where you put the apostrophe. He is not, he's not, or he isn't. She is not, she's not, or she isn't. It is not, it's not, or it isn't. We are not, we're not, or we aren't. They are not, they're not, or they aren't. So it doesn't matter where you contract. There's not one that's more right than the other. Both are correct, and it's your preference to decide where you contract. So congratulations! You've made it to the end of the lesson. Do you understand the present continuous? Do you think it's easy to conjugate? Do you understand the difference between the present simple and the present continuous? Let me know in the comments section below if you want me to do a lesson comparing the present simple and the present continuous. Thank you all for coming, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.